It is my pleasure to introduce my pastor, Courtney Ellis of Presbyterian Church of the Master, who will give the invocation. She will be followed by the Headquarters Battalion, 1st Marine Division Color Guard, and our national anthem, sung by the talented Philip Bardowell.
I invite you to pray with me. Dear God, on this Veterans Day, we come together as a community and we pause as a nation to remember your words to us in the Gospel of John. Greater love has no one than this, that they lay down their life for their friends. Those who have served in our armed forces, whether at home or abroad, whether in times of peace or in times of war, are witnesses to this sacrifice. When the need was greatest, they stepped up to defend our safety and security. Many of them laid down their lives. Others were not asked to give that ultimate sacrifice, but they laid down their lives in other ways, sacrificing time with their families to protect the freedoms of ours, giving months and years in countries around the world and here at home, and giving their bodies in training and active service. Lord, this is a group that understands sacrifice. We thank you for these men and women, sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, friends and neighbors who gave of themselves to serve their country. We give you thanks for those now serving and for those whose service has ended. We thank you for each one in the chains of command, from those who are just now signing enlistment papers to our Commander-in-Chief. Our prayer today is one of gratitude, appreciation, and love. We honor those who have served. Our prayer today is also a prayer of hope, hope that all people may one day be spared the threat of violence, that as the ancient prophet Micah writes, that one day the tools of war will be melted down to make tools to cultivate the land, to feed the hungry. We pray for your kingdom of peace to come, Lord God, on earth as it is in heaven. We thank you for the ways these sacrifices of these brave men and women help us to understand something deeply profound about who you are, a God who came and lived among us, a God who died on our behalf so that we might live. We thank you for the gift of freedom you have given and they have fought to uphold. May we always be grateful for it. And may each of us strive to protect it. As a city, may our words be kind, may our actions be peaceful, may our love for one another be strong, and may our hearts always be open to one another and to you. May you bless our city, and may you bless America. Amen.
Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we walked so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, home of the brave.
Please join. Is this on? Please join me in pledging your allegiance to the flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Please be seated. Today, we gather. First of all, I am Mayor Wendy Bucknam. Just for those of you that didn't know, we gather to honor patriots who have rendered the highest service any American can offer this nation, those who fought for our freedom and stood guard for our security. On this day of solemn remembrance, we join as one people to honor a debt we can never fully repay. On this day, our nation remembers the moment when the guns of World War I went silent, and we recognize the service and sacrifice of our nation's veterans. From Valley Forge to Vietnam, from Kuwait to Kandahar, from Berlin to Baghdad, our veterans have borne the costs of America's wars, and they have stood watch over our country's peace. We are so grateful to the veterans and all who have fought for our freedom. As many of you know, Veterans Day originated as Armistice Day on November 11, 1999, the first anniversary of the end of World War I. Congress passed a resolution in 1926 for an annual observance, and November 11th became a national holiday beginning in 1938. Unlike Memorial Day, Veterans Day pays tribute to all American veterans, living or dead, but especially gives thanks to living veterans who served their country or are serving their country honorably during war or peacetime. And to everyone here today who has served, the city of Mission Viejo salutes you. I'd like to give you guys a round of applause right now. Thank you. So I'm going to take just a moment to make a few introductions. On stage with me are 5th District Orange County Supervisor Lisa Bartlett. And we have Rhonda Reardon representing Senator Patricia Bates of the 36th Senatorial District, and Rhonda is a former mayor of Mission Viejo. We have Donovan Higbee representing Congresswoman Mimi Walters of the 45th Congressional District and a resident of Mission Viejo. And then I have my wonderful council colleagues. We have Mayor Pro Tem Ed Sachs, Councilmember Brian Goodell, Councilmember Trish Kelly, and Councilmember Greg Raths. So in addition to that, we have Colonel Carlos Urbina of the Headquarters Battalion, 1st Marine Division. There we go. John Bogeman. Bogey. 2000. There we go. He is our 2017 Mission Viejo Veteran of the Year. And then, of course, I want to thank Pastor Courtney Ellis of Presbyterian Church of the Master. Thank you for such a moving prayer this morning. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. And then with an amazing rendition of the national anthem with Philip Bardwell, thank you so much for that delightful rendition. Beautiful, thank you. Now, I understand that you have performed with the Beach Boys, and I think that is pretty exciting. Thank you. We bring the beach to Mission Viejo. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to introduce you to the commanding officer of our city's adopted Headquarters Battalion, 1st Marine Division from Camp Pendleton, Colonel Carlos Urbina. I'm going to give an introduction. Colonel Urbina will tell you about the courage and dedication of the men and women who serve under him, the people that we adopt and embrace wholeheartedly. But he is very humble when he's speaking of himself, so I'm going to say a few things. This outstanding person began his military career in 1993 when he was commissioned as a 2nd lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps. 5 years later, he was assigned as a communications and brigade advisor to the Royal Saudi Marine Forces in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And in 2002, he served as a commanding officer to troops deployed to Kuwait and Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. He deployed to Afghanistan in 2007 in support of the Joint Special Operations Task Force, and over the next few years, Colonel Urbina's assignments took him to different parts of the world before he ended up in the White House in 2013. There he served as the Presidential Communications Program Manager in the White House Military Office. In 2016, July, he began his post as commanding officer of the Headquarters Battalion. Please join me in welcoming Colonel Carlos Urbina.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I was just mentioning to her, I appreciate the embarrassment. Not really. Well, good afternoon, distinguished guests, fellow veterans, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful day it is to celebrate Veterans Day. What a beautiful day it is to celebrate the privilege of living in this beautiful country we call the United States of America. And what a beautiful day it is to celebrate the veterans that have kept America safe and free. It is my distinct pleasure to join you this afternoon. I'm not only humbled by this opportunity to speak with you, but to do so after being asked to return after my participation last year tells me one or two things in my simple military mind. Either one, I didn't mess it up too badly last year, or two, maybe my much more qualified peers are all deployed, and I was the last one left to be asked. So I'll just pretend it was the former and not the latter. In all seriousness, it is my absolute pleasure to be a part of this wonderful celebration. For the past year and a half, as the mayor mentioned, I have had the distinct honor of serving as the commanding officer of Headquarters Battalion, 1st Marine Division. The Headquarters Battalion of 1st Marine Division is an operational unit with a lineage dating back to 1913. And it is currently comprised of 1,213 Marines and sailors stationed aboard Camp Pendleton. Headquarters Battalion serves as part of the 1st Marine Division, the largest, oldest, and most decorated division in the United States Marine Corps. A division that perpetually is ready to deploy. We have 4 deployed Marines at this very moment. And a division that is perpetually ready for when the nation is calls, as we have done many times, achieving victory and earning new honors at each one of those calls. As the mayor mentioned, the standard bearers of Headquarters Battalion have had the privilege since 2006 to be the grateful benefactors of the city of Mission Viejo as our adoptive city. In my 24 years of service at the United States Marine Corps, I can honestly tell you that I have not experienced a more generous or genuine commitment from a local community towards a Marine unit as the relationship that I have seen from the city of Mission Viejo and your commitment to supporting our Marines and their families. On behalf of all standard bearers, I cannot thank you enough for what you do. For those of you that may not be aware, and some of you in the room are, yesterday, November 10th, was your United States Marine Corps' 242nd birthday. To us few, hoorah, Marines. To us few that have earned the title United States Marine, our birthday holds a sacred place in our hearts, and each year, no matter where we may be in the world, in Mission Viejo, aboard Camp Pendleton, or forward deployed to combat, we stop to celebrate. We stop to celebrate because it is our solemn responsibility, it is our solemn obligation to honor the veterans that came before us. And although every Marine Corps birthday is special, this birthday and this Veterans Day are a little bit more special for those of us in the 1st Marine Division, because it was 75 years ago today, at this very moment, that standard bearers that came before us were in the middle of the fight during which the 1st Marine Division was baptized in blood. At 6:41 a.m. on 7 August 1942, the command was given to land the landing force on Guadalcanal, a small island in the World War II Pacific Theater. Thus, the 1st Marine Division began our nation's first large-scale offensive action against the Japanese. The battle would rage for the next 6 months. Success in Guadalcanal proved to be a crucial turning point in the Pacific Theater, where Japanese forces were no longer on the offensive. Victory in Guadalcanal was earned through the fighting spirit and resolute will that is entrenched in the soul of every single Marine. But victory came at great cost. On the battlefield, barely 90 miles long and 25 miles wide, the 1st Marine Division, along with U.S. Army forces that fought alongside of us, paid a butcher's bill of 1,592 killed in action, 4,183 wounded in action, and many thousands more disabled by illness and disease. Major General Van de Griff, the commanding general of the 1st Marine Division during that battle, would later state that God favors the bold and the strong of heart. Comparing his Marines with the Japanese, he noted that the Japanese soldier was, quote, trained to go to a place, fight, and die. We train our Marines to go to a place, fight to win, and live. I can assure you it is a better theory, unquote. Indeed, your Marines today train exceptionally hard so that in combat, victory is not only achieved, but so that it is achieved at the lowest possible cost, especially in relation to our most treasured resource, your Marines. We train hard so that we may bring home as many Marines as is humanly possible. We train hard so that we may lower what we solemnly refer to as the butcher's bill. In Guadalcanal, the standard bearers earned the first of 9 Presidential Unit citations that adorn our organizational colors, the colors that were carried by the standard bearers you saw at the opening of this ceremony. Sergeant McCann, Sergeant Chang, Corporal Feliciano, and Corporal Eckelbaum. The Presidential Unit Citation is the highest award that can be earned by a U.S. military unit. It must be earned in combat against an armed enemy of the United States, and the unit must display such gallantry and determination in accomplishing its mission under extremely dangerous conditions so as to set it apart from and above other units participating in the same campaign. Like all veterans, the standard bearers that earned that first Presidential Unit Citation on Guadalcanal and the standard bearers that earned our 9th Presidential Unit Citation in Iraq were Americans dedicated to service with honor, courage, and commitment. Because it is not good enough to just win. We must win with honor. And it is in the spirit of honoring these kind of Americans that we honor veterans this afternoon. They are part of that 1% of our nation who are able to and choose to serve in uniform. Our veterans represent the very best our nation has to offer, and not only for the peace and security of the United States of America, but for the entire world, so that our great-grandchildren and their great-grandchildren may grow up to never know anything different than the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness that was envisioned by our founding fathers so many years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, as the mayor stated, we owe our veterans a debt of gratitude that can never truly be paid in full. I am honored to serve our nation alongside my brother and sister Marines, soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Coast Guardsmen, as we carry on the legacy that our veterans handed to our generation. Veterans like the ones in the audience today. Veterans that also continue to serve in our communities long after they take off the uniform for the last time. Therefore, I am most humbly and sincerely compelled to say to our veterans, thank you. Thank you for your selfless service, and thank you for your sacrifices. We who serve today are honored to follow in your footsteps. Ladies and gentlemen, may God continue to bless the United States of America and all of her veterans. Semper Fidelis.
I'm just trying to be a father, raise a daughter and a son, be a lover to their mother, everything to everyone. Up and at 'em bright and early, I'm all business in my suit, and I'm dressed up for success, from my head down to my boots. I don't do it for the money, there's bills that I can't pay. I don't do it for the glory, I just do it anyway. Providing for our futures, my responsibility. And I'm real good under pressure, being all that I can be. I can't call in sick on Mondays, 'cause the weekend's been too long. I work straight through the holidays, sometimes all night long. But you can bet that I'll stand ready when the wolf growls at the door. Yeah, I'm solid and I'm steady and I'm true down to the core. And I can do my duty no matter what the price. I've counted up the cost, I know the sacrifice. And I don't want to die for you, but if dying's asked of me, I'll bear that cross with honor, 'cause freedom don't come free. And I'll always do my duty, no matter what the price. I've counted up the cost, and I'll proudly take a stand. When liberty's in jeopardy, I'll always do what's right. And I'm out here on the front lines, so sleep in peace tonight. And I'm an American soldier. Oh, I'm an American soldier. And I'm an American soldier, an American. Beside my brothers and my sisters, I proudly take a stand. When liberty's in jeopardy, I'll always do what's right. And I'm out here on the front lines, so sleep in peace tonight. And I'm an American soldier. I'm an American. I'm an American soldier. We truly could never thank you enough. Thank you, vets. God bless you.
Thank you. You know, over 150 years ago, at a small field in Gettysburg, it was Abraham Lincoln in his Gettysburg Address that said, "The men that died here lost the full measure of their devotion." And that's what we all owe all of our veterans today. Thank you, Colonel, for your leadership and your commitment to our country. But it's now my pleasure to introduce Antoinette Balta of the Veterans League Institute. Antoinette is president and co-founder excuse me, of the Veterans League Institute, where she is responsible for the business development, outreach, marketing, and strategic planning. Since the Institute's inception, nearly 5,000 local veterans have been empowered by legal services, removing barriers to housing, health care, education, and employment. Antoinette also serves as a Reserve JAG officer with the California State Military Reserve, where she holds the rank of captain. She is the director at large of the OC Bar Association, vice chair of the steering committee of the OC Veterans and Military Families Collaborative, and is a member of the board of advisors for the National Associations of Veteran Serving Operations. It's easy to see why Antoinette was named as one of Orange County Register's top 100 most influential people in 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Antoinette Balta.
Good afternoon. Happy Veterans Day. What a beautiful day it is today. We're truly blessed. And it's days like this where I'm inspired to reflect on what it means to have or be able to have the American dream. And people talk about the American dream all the time, and you all have your version of the American dream. And what is that to you? For some people, it could be living in a place where they can freely practice their faith. For some people, it might be becoming a doctor, an attorney, an engineer, a politician, regardless of the family that they're born into, regardless of their gender. For some people, it may be that they dream to enlist in the military right after high school, perhaps to be career military, perhaps to deploy, to build leadership skills, to travel the world, earn the GI Bill, maybe go to college. And we have that American dream largely in part to the collaborative sacrifice and the duty of our active and former service members, to our veterans. So stand up if you're a veteran and let me thank you personally. Thank you. I want to thank you for supporting the stability and strength of this nation and laying and maintaining the foundation and freedom so that we can all live the American dream. My American dream, to serve those heroes and heroines that fall through the cracks or need a hand up. Like the veteran on the freeway holding that sign, or that veteran that returns from combat with the wounds of war and needs help receiving their benefits. The American dream to have the opportunity to work hard and go to law school, even though I'm a first-generation American, even though no woman in my family ever received an education, and even though no one in my family ever received an advanced education before me. All while men and women are away from the comfort of their own homes so that I can fulfill my dream. My American dream realized comfortably, albeit through some hard work, to take a law degree and transform it into a powerful tool to create a positive community impact serving the very men and women who gave me that opportunity to realize that same American dream and the same dream I hope for my two sons in this audience. That dream to dedicate my time and the skills that I have to the Veterans Legal Institute to work hand in hand with partners like the great city of Mission Viejo and that star of a woman, Leslie McDonald, who's amazing and called me 9 months ago to reserve me on the busiest day of the year. This is like the Christmas for the military. To serve together to help those who have truly helped us. At the Veterans Legal Institute, we provide free legal services to active service members, former service members, and reservists that need a hand up. We remove barriers to health care, housing, education, and employment so that they can be self-sufficient. And as it was mentioned, it was no small feat over the last 4 years to serve over 5,000 of our local veterans in your backyard right here in Orange County. And that credit goes to those who gave us the ability to follow that American dream, and to the fantastic staff I have, many of whom are here, many of whom are military connected, whether they served or they're married to someone to serve or because they're phenomenal patriots, including Kellyanne Romanich, her husband, Command Sergeant Major Mark Shirey, Allison Higley, and several others. Together, we provide services to those whose average income is under $1,000 a month. Imagine living in Orange County with an income of under $1,000 a month when you need legal services because you can't get that job because you have, something on your record that needs to be expunged, or you can't access your benefits because navigating the VA bureaucracy when you have traumatic brain injury is too difficult. To be able to access an attorney for free, most of our attorneys who have a history of being JAG officers. Whether your issue is bankruptcy, if you're an adult, older adult veteran that needs estate planning services, or a terminally ill veteran that needs that, any sort of consumer law issue, limited family law issues, you can come to a safe place and get those services for free. And if you can't come to us in magical Santa Ana, we will come to you in super magical Mission Viejo. As we do and have partnered, largely to the credit of Leslie McDonald, to provide a free legal clinic in the city of Mission Viejo at different parts of the year. We're also at Saddleback College through the phenomenal work of Terrence Nelson, who I understand is here today, and his veteran advocacy. We're also at the VA hospital in Long Beach. We do Military Mondays at Starbucks in the homeless quarter. We're at the Vet Center in Garden Grove. We will go to the veterans that need us. We will not wait for them to come to us. My American dream, to stand tall and to work together with patriots like you, like the residents and leadership of the city of Mission Viejo, like Leslie McDonald, like Mayor Bucknam, like the council members behind me, and the veterans in this audience, to never again see a veteran on the corner of the freeway holding a sign. Rather, may we work together to raise each other, whether through military service or as patriots contributing to this great nation. Thank you for your service.
I think we all learned from Antoinette. Thank you so much for the work that you do and for sharing with us just a glimpse of the work you do and how it benefits our veterans. Today, I have a wonderful honor of introducing our 2017 Veteran of the Year, John Bogey Bogeman. John is a longtime Mission Viejo resident who faithfully served our country in the United States Air Force from 1952 to 1960. During his tenure, he attained the rank of Staff Sergeant and worked in top secret clearance for the Atomic Energy Commission. His expertise was in special weapons aircraft integration. For his loyal service, he was named Airman of the Month and awarded Good Conduct National Defense Service medals. Bogey's service to our community runs just as deep. When he retired after a 40-year career in the aerospace industry, he delved into volunteerism, and he spent his time soliciting food and clothing for various church and school organizations. His efforts have only grown since then. Bogey is dedicated to helping to ease the conditions faced by many of our young military families. To do that, he collaborates with 22 veterans who each year acquire thousands of pounds of goods, bedding, and children's items for the families at Camp Pendleton. Through Bogey's efforts, last year alone, now you have to listen to this number, I had to read it a couple of times. Through his efforts, last year alone, 104,500 diapers were collected and distributed to battalion families. I've seen a lot of diapers in my life, but that is a lot of diapers. The list of his contributions is endless, with various retired military organizations, including the Knights of Columbus and VFW Posts 6024 and 9934. I actually happened to meet Bogey about a little over a year ago. I was visiting a friend of mine in a retirement home here in Mission Viejo, and unannounced came a knock on the door, and there stood Bogey while I was visiting with my friend, and he had a wheelchair and a walker for this friend of mine. And he came in and presented these to my friend, and my friend was so choked up that he could hardly find words. And I said to Bogey, "How did you know that he needed these things?" He said, "I just have my ways." And then he said something that I will always remember. He said, "Veterans help each other. Veterans help each other. They take care of each other." Along with his dedication to our community, Bogey is a loving family man who's been married to his wife, Tori, for 65 years. They have 3 children, 6 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in honoring the man who epitomizes what this award is all about, John Bogey Bogeman. Come on up. See, he's still checking to see if somebody needs something. I have a proclamation to present to Bogey, and then we'll be having our other legislative guests come up. So, whoops. Let me just say that this is a proclamation of the City of Mission Viejo in recognition of the 2017 Mission Viejo Veteran of the Year. So we do present this to you, Bogey.
Thank you, Trish. God bless you.
Now, I will ask you to stay here, and I'm going to invite our other legislative guests up and their representatives. So we're going to begin first with our own Orange County Supervisor, Lisa Bartlett, and then she'll be followed by the offices of Senator Pat Bates and Congressman Mimi Walters. And then after their presentations, we're going to take a group photo with Bogey and with my council colleagues and the whole group. So that's what we're going to do. We'll begin with Supervisor Lisa Bartlett.
Well, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here today celebrating Veterans Day with all of you, and to be able to say thank you and show appreciation and gratitude for the brave men and women who have served in the military and continue to serve today and serve our country so well and protecting our freedom. I also had the honor this year of co-hosting our 9th annual South County Veterans Resource Fair at Saddleback College. And it was attended by hundreds of veterans, and they were able to get access and information to a lot of the vital services that we have here available in Orange County. We also have a County of Orange 5th District Veterans Resource Guide, which I encourage all of you to pick up. It's got great information for services ranging from legal to health to education, access to benefits, and so on. And it's available here today at our booth that's out and back. I also am honored that for our Orange County Veterans Advisory Council, we have as our 5th District appointee to that council, our very own council member, Greg Ratz. So thank you, Greg, for your service. Councilmember Trish Kelly really was very gracious in covering a lot of the background for Bogey and his distinguished service in the Air Force. But what I'd like to also add is that not only did he have distinguished service in the Air Force, but when he came out, he continued to serve our country and help our veterans and stay engaged. And some of what he's been engaged in with the Knights of Columbus and 2 different veterans foreign wars post. One of them is from my home city of Dana Point, Post 9934, and he's also involved in Post 6024 here in Mission Viejo. So he's collecting diapers and getting wheelchairs, and it's nice to see so many veterans that stay active out in the community when they conclude their service of duty. They don't think that that's the end of things at that point, and they continue to serve the country in just a different way. And Bogey, on behalf of the 5th District and myself as your 5th District Supervisor, I just want to say thank you so much for your service to our country, your distinguished record of service, and the fact that you continue to stay very engaged and want to help the community at large and help our veterans out there. So thank you for all that you do. I really appreciate it.
We take care of our own.
Okay. You do. And this is for you. Thank you.
Holy cow. God bless you.
God bless you.
No, God bless all the guys that help us.
It's true.
All right. Thank you.
You're doing a presentation. Do I sit down, stay up, or stay up?
Oh.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just start.
It's going to get a little crowded up here, folks. So, may I call you Bogey?
You sure may.
Good, because Senator Bates wants to call you Bogey, as well as Assemblyman Bill Breaux.
I understand.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll see that this is a joint resolution, isn't this beautiful? But it's not as gorgeous and as beautiful as your heart. Bogey, you have done amazing work.
Can't do enough.
You're welcome. Okay. So just so you know, we're going to hold it because we're going to get a picture. So I'm going to give it to you, and then I'm going to move down next to Supervisor Bartlett, and I'll hold it for you.
All right.
I'll give it back to you, I promise. Okay.
Give it that cute little thing I had down there for 70 years.
All right. Bogey, it's truly a privilege and an honor to present this a certificate of special congressional recognition to you on behalf of U.S. Congresswoman Mimi Walters. She truly appreciates all your years of service to our nation as a member of the U.S. Air Force, and as well as to our community for so long. So congratulations, and thank you so much for all you do. And she wishes she could be here herself to present this to you.
I
But
understand that.
of course, congratulations.
I got a running nose. Excuse me. Congratulations.
Okay, let's do your
Oh, yeah. It's,
Now we're going to do a group picture now.
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah. What do you want?
Oh, yeah.
The council members.
Council members, okay.
I'll let you guys hold them all, and I'll leave.
Everybody up.
I know you from somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know who you are.
Do you see everybody?
Which one of us? Antoinette, she wants you to move on that side.
My turn? I think so.
It's your turn.
Right.
Yes, yes. You're on.
Bogey, congratulations again from the City Council and all the members of our great city. I'd like to thank Antoinette for all she does for veterans. She has helped several friends of mine. Antoinette's been fantastic, and I really appreciate it. The days of when Ed Sachs returned from Vietnam with the VA are slowly changing and getting better. Let me give you an example. Last spring, I was waking up with some pretty severe headaches, and I went to a counselor at the VA, and they thought it might be from some of the fires during Desert Storm when Saddam blew up all the oil wells. And so I went to the Long Beach Naval Hospital, and they were just amazing. They took care of me. They took a CAT scan. They did everything they had to do. But then I waited 6 months, and yesterday I got a letter from them, and they said, reviewed your case, and your left elbow is just fine. So we have a little ways to go. My elbow is great, but I am taking Excedrin, but I may need to talk to you again, Antoinette. On this day, especially as reminded from the following quote, this nation will remain the land of the free only so long as it is the home of the brave. Every man and woman who risks their lives each day to protect our world and make it a better place are our heroes. And I salute each and every one of you and thank you for your service. It's a particularly amazing 2 days for my family. My father was a World War II combat pilot over in Normandy in Europe, winner of the Distinguished Flying Cross and the Bronze Star.
My wife lost her first husband at an early age, a captain in the Marine Corps, when his A-6 intruder had a training accident. I served for 30 years in the Marine Corps, and my son now has served 18 years in the Marine Corps as the Marine Major. So these 2 days of the Marine Corps birthday and the Veterans Day is so special to my family, and I thank everybody for coming out. What I'd like to do now is to recognize those veterans who served in conflicts or during the conflicts. If you'd please stand up. If you were here not yet. If you were here last year, I didn't want to forget anybody, so I started out with the Revolutionary War. It was determined that no veterans were still alive. So not to forget anybody, I'm going to start out. If you're a veteran of the War of 1812, please stand up. All right, we'll go right to World War II. If you're a veteran of World War II or served during that time frame, please stand. And please remain standing. And please remain standing. My father lived to the age of 96 and passed away a couple years ago, and he'd be so proud of all of you guys and what you've done. Any veterans from the Korean War? I can't believe our president today is in Hanoi after a terrible, terrible war. Any veterans from the Vietnam War, please stand. And in 1990, when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, we had the Gulf War in 1991. Any Gulf War veterans, please stand up. This was followed by the war in Iraq, the invasion of Iraq, Iraqi freedom in 2003. Any Iraqi war veterans, please stand up. And all veterans of the Cold War, the War on Terror, and all veterans who have served, please stand up if I haven't mentioned you. Please take your seats. Thank you for all of you who have served or continue to serve our great nation. Now I'd like to give it over to our singer.
Thank you, Colonel. Thank you, Colonel.
What's his name? Philip.
Thank you. Thank you.
A great talent.
Thank you. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. Yeah, please join me. From the mountains. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Take it up now. God bless bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home, sweet home.
I don't know why I always have to follow the singer. I went to a Beach Boys concert. Thank you all for joining us and showing your gratitude to our veterans and active military members. I'd be remiss without thanking the folks who assisted with today's ceremony, reception, and resources, including members of the U.S. Marine Headquarters Battalion, 1st Marine Division, VFW Post 6024. It's a Grind Coffee House and Taste Catering for their generous contributions. The city's Marines and Sailors Adoption Committee. Yes, you can woohoo. Our information exhibits include Department of Veterans Affairs, Oxford Preparatory Academy, South County Veterans Center, Mission Viejo, Patriots in Pause, Veterans Legal Institutes, Working Wardrobes, VetNet Program, and Saddleback College Veteran Resource Center. We now would like the Boy Scout Noah Bolham from Troop 727 to perform taps.
Fire. Go!